Hi, I'm Mario,
And I'm Amilcar.
and this is Two Mics, One World Cup.
And today we're going to be covering Group G, which is Brazil, Serbia, Switzerland, and Cameroon.
Yeah, it's also basically a rematch of Group E from the 2018 World Cup, with the exception of Cameroon, which in the last World Cup was made up of Costa Rica.
Yeah, I wonder how that's going to be, if it's going to be the same situation as last year.
That'll be interesting because I believe it was Brazil and Switzerland making it out of the group stage last time. So I wonder if it'll be a repeat in that sense, or if new entrant Cameroon might maybe crash the party. But let's jump right into it, basically. So we have Brazil, who I believe is either FIFA number one or currently number one in the world. From what I've seen, a lot of sportsbooks have them as favorite to win the World Cup, along with maybe France, Argentina a little recently. But what do you think about this Group G Brazil?
I mean, obviously, I think we're talking about the powerhouses here, which I think we can all agree they're probably the favorites between sportsbooks and everybody. I think at this point, they're probably the favorites. The crazy part is how stacked this team is, especially when we come to the forwards. We were talking about studs on every single team in Europe at this point. The interesting part is going to be like rotation-wise, how they play. I think the only negative here is they have such high expectations. I think they all expect to win the World Cup. So sometimes that makes you crumble when you have that many expectations with such a stacked team, and you don't end up
like 2014, for example. Maybe not a stack, but high expectations.
Yeah, and I think the team is really similar to the team from last World Cup. Maybe not Vinicius and Rodrigo. Maybe those are probably the new additions here. But if he ends up rotating the starters, things like that. We're talking about continuity, things like that. I mean, this is going to be Neymar's basically last chance, I would say, as a star, as a prime focal point.
Like his last best chance, I would say.
Exactly. Sure, yeah. As being the focal point of, this is my World Cup. If we win, I did it, Yeah. This is going to be his last year if he really wants to make a name for himself when it comes to Brazilian soccer.
Yeah. And to that point, I feel like Brazil is a team that players break out very young, like 2021. You see Vinicius, he was like 18, I think. He was starting for Real Madrid.
Yeah.
So there's 15-year-old kids right now that are going to be in the World Cup in 2026. So yeah, you really have to stay on top of your game to have a starting spot in the Brazil team, or even to be on the 26-man roster. So yeah, I think it's maybe the last one not the last one for Neymar, but like you said, last one where he's like the
centerpiece.
Yeah, the main guy.
Agreed. Yeah, but the thing, when you look at the roster from top to bottom, they're stacked. Like, they got a great back line, midfielders are stacked, forwards are stacked. They have a good goalie, which is kind of something more rare to see in some of these really good teams that are expected to go far. Maybe with the exception of Belgium, I would say, with Courtois. But other than that, I mean, when you look at Argentina, you look at all these other teams, they got great front lines, but their goalies aren't really that great. But Allison, I mean, he's one of the top goalies here, so that's going to be interesting.
I want to talk about their backup goalie too. Backup, so I need to say Ederson. I feel like if you told me what's a player that you're afraid of in the World Cup, and I mean like afraid of, like if you ran into him like in a
dark alley at a bar or something.
Yeah, you see Ederson, he looks like a tough guy, like the tattoos, like the hair. He's a scary looking guy.
Hey, hopefully he's scaring the balls away too.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't know why I just had to point that out. But yeah, another quick fact or fun fact I was looking, the longest period that Brazil's gone without a World Cup was from without a World Cup win was from 1970 to 1994. So if they don't win this World Cup, it'll be like their new longest period. So I'm sure the Brazilian players don't really care about that, but statistically speaking, they're kind of due for a World Cup win. So yeah, and I know we'll get into it a little bit later, but yeah, I'm interested to see what the final outcome is.
Sounds like the earthquake warnings in California. It's like, we're due for a huge earthquake. It just never comes.
Just watch. Tomorrow there will be one. Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
You heard it here first if you're in California. But anyways, another group is Switzerland, who, again, was also in Group B in the 2018 World Cup. They're currently FIFA ranking number 15. Yeah, 15. It's their 12th World Cup appearance. And they qualified automatically by winning their group in the UEFA qualifiers. And they also recently have been kind of upsetting a lot of bigger teams, most recently France in the Euros in penalties. And they also qualified to the World Cup, beating Italy, the Euro champion, in their own group, then sending them to lose to Macedonia. So, yeah, what do you think about the Switzerland team?
This is a good team. I think we're talking about, I mean, good relatively, right? The thing with this team is I feel like they really show up when it comes to any international competitions. That's when they play their best. Obviously, their best player is Shaqiri playing for Chicago Fire, which on the bright side, I think something also to talk about or to look at is like how many MLS players they're going to be in the World Cup this year and how the league's growing too. So
yeah, excited for that for sure.
Yeah, for any listeners that are in the United States, like that's a huge way that U.S. has come in terms of soccer. So, but yeah, we'll see. I mean, this is going to be also competitive. It reminds you a lot of Group A, how competitive it's going to be. I think obviously this way we're going to have Brazil probably as a powerhouse, right? But then the other three teams, they're very even keeled.
Yeah, and that's a crazy thing. Like, I think gone are the days where like you clearly had a 1 and 2 in every group. I think you go back to like even 2006, and you look at the groups, you're like, oh yeah, it kind of made sense that like Portugal was going to move on or like Brazil was going to move on. But I feel like the overall level of soccer, like you point to like MLS players playing in the World Cup, has really increased everywhere. Like I've been basically saying this in every group. I'm like, oh wow, this group's really tight. And not because like every group has the highest level, but every group has competitive teams. So yeah, to your point, I think like there's not really that many like easy groups. There's definitely easier groups, but not easy groups, I would say.
Yeah, like this could be the group of death when it comes to like the second place team. Like who's going to come in second? I think Serbia, Cameroon, or Switzerland could easily, any of them could be the second place here. So it's going to be a fight. So it's going to be fun.
Yeah, and going back to the history and like what you mentioned to a fight, Brazil and Switzerland tied in the last World Cup. Eventually, Switzerland bowed out in the round of 16. But these are teams that they've played each other. I think Brazil comes a little bit better prepared than they did last World Cup, but still the teams are familiar with each other in this world stage. So I don't think Switzerland will necessarily be intimidated by a Brazil, for example, playing this World Cup. And again, they just beat the world champion in the Euros. So I'm excited to see what kind of Switzerland shows up to play a very, very talented Brazil side.
Absolutely.
But then speaking of like teams that have been really playing well recently, we have Serbia. And it's a 12th World Cup appearance, currently FIFA ranking 21. And they qualified here via the UEFA playoffs. No, actually not the play. Yes. No. They topped their group with Portugal, which then Portugal had to go qualify via the playoffs. And you said that was a dramatic win where Ronaldo's goal was disallowed, right?
Yeah. Ronaldo. And basically, that's what it's felt like for the past couple of years. Is it Ronaldo or Portugal? Portugal was supposed to win that game, so basically the ball was in the goal essentially, but it got kicked out, and they didn't even review it or anything. They disallowed the goal, and that basically put Portugal to second place there, which essentially made them go to the playoff, which luckily they won, but I mean, that could have gone a very different way, and that would have been Ronaldo's last World Cup.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about that, like before knowing that, I think Serbia, Portugal, and I think, you know what, Portugal, it just maybe by name value, I think Portugal has a better chance. But you really look at the talent that Serbia has, the way their players have been playing right now, and you do wonder, maybe Serbia truly is a better team than Portugal. So it makes me really reconsider like who I would think would maybe take number 2 in this group, just because, again, based on the Portugal comparison. So yeah, I think that's basically it. Another thing I will say about the Serbia team is I think about them and I kind of want to scratch myself.
You got the itches?
Yeah, exactly. They got the itches all over the lineup.
Yeah, you got Lukic, what is it, Lazovic, Lilic, Mitrovic, Jovic, Vlahovic. I mean, between here and Switzerland, they got a lot of itches.
They sure do. Bring the mosquito spray, right?
But the crazy part, like we're talking about the bitches. I mean, it's the entire team, right? But I mean, I think the interesting part is going to be like the 3 lions up front. I mean, you have Mitrovic, Djokovic, and Vlahovic. They're all easily starters at any point. So it's going to be, who is he going to go with? Is he going to go with Vlahovic, or is he going to go with who he usually goes with, which is Mitrovic?
Yeah, he's been having a good season beforehand.
Exactly. Yeah, he finds the back of the net every game, it seems like. So that's going to be interesting to see who they go with, how they use their substitutions. But I mean, defense wins championships, but I don't know. Scoring goals helps too. So this is really, really loaded team up front.
Yeah, I think they're like the more offensive version of Switzerland. Switzerland's a little bit maybe more defensive. So yeah, excited to see how these sides face up when they play each other. Last in this group, we have Cameroon, who, even though they missed out in the 2018 World Cup, they're no strangers to Brazil. They were in the group with Brazil in 2014 when it was hosted in Brazil. So again, it's teams that are familiar with each other all around. They, I think, are probably the weaker African team, even though their soccer federation is headed by Samuel Eto'o. So I wonder if like any of his greatness can transfer into the players. I know it doesn't quite work that way, but I still think, it's maybe a stronger side than the 2014 Cameroon. I don't think they got a point in that World Cup, and I could see them definitely pulling off a point here, maybe even a couple, really. But I still think it's probably going to be the weaker showing from the African nations. But what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think that when you look at the matches, I think that's something that drew my attention. So they're starting with Switzerland, then Serbia, then they finish off with Brazil. So the teams that like play Brazil first and second, I mean, you could get just absolutely destroyed by Brazil, and that could just destroy your World Cup hopes, destroy any kind of momentum you had going into it. So I think the fact that they're going to start with Switzerland, then Serbia, they might have some momentum. I mean, they maybe either tie a game, win a game, and then they can go into Brazil. And I mean, at that point, Brazil could have the group already sealed. So they might be, I don't know, resting players. I don't know how they're doing it, right? But I mean, I that's what I like about this team is the way their schedule's set up.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I think timing is really, really crucial here. And yeah, you see their matches, and I think they kind of build to the more difficult match. And yeah, by the time they get to the Brazil match, Brazil might be thinking, we already either have this in the bag, or you know what, maybe we want the 2 seed, because they would be playing. So the number 1 seed here would play number 2 from 2H. So that would be from, I believe, the Portugal group. So you're looking at, if you win this group, you're looking at playing Portugal, Uruguay, Ghana, South Korea. But then if you lose the group, I guess, yeah, you'd be playing the same teams.
But I mean, that brings up an interesting topic of conversation is like, do you think that when people or teams or coaches or federations think of that when they're going into that last game, do you think they're thinking, okay, we should get second because it's an easier way up? Or do you think they're just like, oh, we got to win every game? Because I think there's a benefit to both, right?
Yeah, they'll obviously know we don't. We just play our game. But I feel like, yeah, depending on how you match up and who you play against, then yeah, you might look, okay, well, would I rather play Portugal over Uruguay, or would I rather maybe play South Korea? So yeah, I think there's a consideration to it. If you're a Brazil side, though, I think you're expecting to beat whoever you play, so maybe not on their end, but I could see them resting some starters. But even then, if they're resting some starters, who are you going to play? Like,
yeah,
you're resting
your backups could be basically win this World Cup as well. Yeah. But I think on the flip side, though, like if you start resting players, then like we talk about fluidity and like, they might lose a step and then they go into the next game and they lose, because they haven't been playing top-notch football. They're not, really staying competitive and doing those things. So that's the interesting part of it. Like maybe you get an easier team, but you just lost your rhythm that you had. Kind of like, I mean, we talk about, baseball's going on right now in the playoffs, and a lot of people talk about, yeah, there you go. A lot of people were talking about the Dodgers, and they took the week off and they lost a lot of momentum. So it could be something like that. Very similar. Yeah,
absolutely. Definitely want to keep it's a short tournament and you want to like keep your form all throughout. So yeah, you could definitely lose some momentum. So speaking about like the next round, who do you see winning and coming in second for this group? Is it Brazil winning like most people think, or do you have any other different predictions?
This one's tough. I don't know, man. No, I think I agree. It would be an absolute disaster for Brazil if they didn't win this group. I mean, I don't know how you would expect them to win the World Cup if you can't come out of this group. Once again, it's definitely a tough group, but Brazil should be thankful that they're in this group and not stuck with another powerhouse somewhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely see Brazil coming out of this number 1. Absolutely. I mean, I definitely have them, if not winning, getting to the semis or above.
Are you thinking like 9 points winning the group, or like a 7-point scenario?
Not sure. I mean, I could see them drawing a game here. Particularly a game against Serbia, because I think like I said, Serbia can score so many goals that they could really show up the Brazil side and maybe get a tie or draw there. But yeah, I think either 7 or 9. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at all if they won the whole thing, or sorry, won the group without losing a match.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I think for me, yeah, it's also got to be Brazil winning the group. I'm going to say they'll probably. Yeah, that's a good point with Serbia, but I'm going to say they walk away with 9 points probably, and then, so yeah, winning the group, and then.
Well, who do you have at second then? Yeah, this is a tough one because it could be
one.
anybody. You don't have a wrong choice, really.
Yeah. I'll probably eliminate Cameroon. I don't think they have quite what it takes compared to like the other teams. Still a good side, but I think we'll see from other African teams like a deeper run, and I don't think it'll be Cameroon. Then I think a lot of people,
Cameroon fans.
Yeah, sorry. I think Serbia's probably a slight favorite over Switzerland. And Switzerland's a team that when I've seen them play, like even in the Euros when they beat France, prior to that, I see them play and I always feel like they underwhelm. Like they can always achieve a little bit more. So I'm going to give them the edge this one time. Although I think more people would have Serbia as favorites. But disclaimer, I visited Switzerland this summer and it's absolutely beautiful. So,
is that the tiebreaker? Is that what gets them to go over?
I can put what's not a face, like a landscape to the flag, I guess. So,
there's gonna be Serbian people around the world saying that their country is more beautiful.
I'd love to visit Serbia as well. So maybe next time. Had I gone to Serbia this summer, I would probably pick Serbia. But I got Switzerland again. So basically repeating the Group E of 2018, Brazil up top, and then Switzerland. In second. I do think Switzerland will stop at the round of 16. Meanwhile, Brazil, I think at least semis. What about you?
Yeah, I have, like the other people that you said, I think I have Serbia getting second on this one. I think the offense is just too powerful for a lot of these teams, or we'll say the bottom 3 that we're basically discussing. The offense is going to be too much. They're going to have a lot of goals. Some other teams I think are going to struggle to score in this group, but I think Serbia is going to be completely fine. So I have them going to the next round. Don't know how far I have them going really. We'll have to see who they end up playing when we do the brackets. But I do definitely have them getting second. I have Switzerland third, and then unfortunately I got Cameroon at fourth.
Yeah, I guess it's the second place that we're both have different players or teams, but and it'll be the last matchup too where Serbia and Switzerland play each other. So I guess that's where it'll probably be decided for who goes out to the next round. So.
Yeah, so that could be a really great last match. We talked about the Brazil Cameroon. I mean, that might be just kind of like the end of it. You know, Brazil's resting players, but then Serbia Switzerland, they might be playing for second there.
Yeah,
depending
so
on how everyone
about
goes.
It, maybe like how they match up against Cameroon, like the goal differential can also Cameroon fans, but yeah, the goal differential could maybe be what determines it too if like Serbia and Switzerland draw when they play each other.
Yeah. Goal differential. Don't get any yellow cards like last World Cup.
Oh, yeah.
Be careful with that. I think it was Japan, right?
Yeah, Japan. Yeah, they went on, but then they played Belgium pretty well. So
yeah, but that must be heartbreaking to lose because you had too many yellow cards.
I always wondered how they would decide. I didn't know it was like fair play rules, but yeah.
Don't have Sergio Ramos on your team.
But yeah, I think that basically does it for Group G. We're very excited to see basically who gets second place within this group.
Yeah, be sure to like and subscribe to our podcast wherever you get your podcast, whether that's Apple, Spotify. We're going to be doing some live reviews every day of the World Cup, so be sure to subscribe for that.
I'm Mario.
And I'm Amilcar.
And this 2 Mics, 1 World Cup.